Daphne Yoren, not too long ago, prosecuted a man who was robbing somebody at a phone booth. The robber pushed the man down. He was old. You can see there. Pushed the man. Oh, it was an ATM, sorry. Pushed the man down. He hit his head. He later died of brain contusion. But she said, look, we should pursue this idea of restorative justice. He didn't mean to kill him. So in that case, she wanted leniency for a criminal who accidentally killed someone. Right. But in this, Daphne.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. As I said before, I'll say it again. Free Daniel Penny. That was the Fox News giving a good analysis of the judge. Chad, you actually have another video we might watch, too, here in just a second.
Yeah, I'll pull it up here in just a minute, but keep going.
But yeah, this woman believes in restorative justice, which means she actually doesn't believe in justice. So a lot of people and a lot of colleges and elite cultures around the world, they believe in this thing called restorative justice, which is the opposite of justice. It's like social justice. It's justice done on behalf of, so it's more lenient tendencies given to certain ethnic and minority groups because of historical injustices. But remember, justice and injustice is done on individual levels. Like, no one, like that video of that guy, no one forced that guy to beat up that old man, knock him down, and give him a brain aneurysm in his head. So this is what the college institutions are teaching. They're teaching restorative justice. They're teaching social justice. And, you know, that it sounds like a fancy, cool word, but it's not. All it is saying, well, you're of a certain minority group, so what that means is we're going to treat you with kid gloves because we think you've been historically marginalized and oppressed. Despite the fact nobody was like, hey, man, beat up that old Asian guy. Knock him down. Give him a brain aneurysm. Kill him.
And I'd just like to point out that this prosecutor looks like Rocky Dennis.
Yeah, she looks like the female Rocky Dennis if she had a normal-sized face. But yeah, that is, not a very flattering photo of her. But again, restorative justice, what does that mean? It means not justice. It's not justice. It'd be like me. It's like, well, I accidentally... Daniel Penny is a perfect example. He saved people on a bus by protecting them from this guy, and he put this dude in chokehold to stop him from moving around and thrashing around erratically, and the guy died. He didn't intend to kill him. He was just trying to restrain him until the police could show up. And you're on a train, so it's not like he can go anywhere. Yeah. He's sitting there, just like, well, we got to wait until when we get to the next stop, however the hell long that takes.
Yep.
But that guy, it's like, again, why does she treat minority groups with kid gloves and treat Daniel Penny, let's throw the book at this turd. Yeah. He killed a minority again. So she's treating people by their ethnic groups. It's like, this minority was historically marginalized and oppressed, and now a white man protected people. He might have been protecting people on the train, but guess what? He was oppressing that guy on the train. We should have let him run around and threaten people and threaten, again, if you threaten to murder people, you are putting your life in danger. If you go around saying, I'll kill you, I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to die today. Let's go. It's like people are scared. Mm-hmm. So again, this is absolutely crazy. It's wrong. It's evil. And this this prosecutor is a moron, and she doesn't care about justice. She cares about
social justice.
It's not even social justice.
Restorative justice.
Restorative justice, it's a terrible word. She cares about her feelings and how the case makes her feel, not about the truth, not about
what happened.
Reality.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is what happens when you have weak people in society.
Exactly.
She's like, oh, this makes me feel bad, therefore I'm gonna rule on it in the way that I think needs to be done, or I'm gonna prosecute it the way that I think needs to be prosecuted. And again, that means punishing the white dude for helping others.
Mm-hmm. But I'll read this again just real quick. Dr. Young Koon Kim of Leachman College was killed last December after being pushed during a robbery at an ATM machine on Broadway between 96th and 97th Streets. The assailant, 52-year-old Michael Lee, was arrested and initially charged with murder, but Kim's case took a different turn when the assistant district attorney, Daphne Yoren, approached Kim's family about trying for a different outcome. Yoren contacted the professor's son, Jinsu Kim, to see if he would be interested in pursuing restorative justice
Oh my
instead of
God.
traditional prosecution. Gothamist reported.
Tell me they said no.
I hope, but who knows at this point? There's nothing else in it. This just goes back to the video that we just
Daphne
watched.
Yoris.
Again, justice is about individuals. It's righting wrongs between individual people. If someone wrongs you, like again, it's like if you had kids at school and a kid of a different race picked on your kid, it doesn't matter what the race of the kid is. A crime was committed, and that crime should be prosecuted the same way that crime would be prosecuted regardless of race. It doesn't matter if it was a white kid doing it to a black kid doing it to a white kid, Hispanic kid doing it to a black kid, Chinese kid doing it to a white kid. Doesn't matter. The crime is the same. I mean, that's why Lady Justice is blind. Race does not matter in this country. It should not matter in this country. But again, you get these social justice, left-wing Democrat prosecutors in there, and they're like, well, we were taught that restorative justice is the most important thing that we can do, so we can heal historic wounds of the past. Yeah, by stabbing people in the back who were wronged by people. Like, you are responsible for all the decisions you make in your own life. I mean, that's why we love a good story about people who overcome the odds. It's like whenever, remember Eric was talking about how he felt really weird being on the football team because, a lot of the African-American guys, I didn't have a dad. I grew up in a ghetto neighborhood where people were shooting guns at us every night. It's like, he's like, well, I grew up in a really wealthy family and, was able to afford to pay in the band, be in the band and play football and do all these things. So it's just like, but those stories are interesting and they're good because people like to hear. It's like, wow, this guy, despite all of his setbacks in life, was able to overcome and achieve. Again, that makes for a good story. But these people are making excuses for them. This prosecutor should have thrown the book at that guy that killed that poor Asian guy. But no. Her feelings wouldn't allow for it. She's like, no. We got to do restorative justice. I'm not going to throw the book at these poor people. They've been historically discriminated against. What the hell are you talking about? I didn't see white privilege holding a gun to that black guy's head and saying, push that Asian guy down right now.
Exactly.
Exactly. What are we talking about here?
Here's this and here's that story in her own words. If you want to read for this.
Yeah, I do. This is exactly the video I was hoping you pull up.
Defendant did not. So I'm going to give you an example of something that I did with a recent case of mine, and this has never been done in my office. I had a murder case where the defendant did not intentionally kill the victim. He went into an ATM on the Upper West Side and tried to rob an individual. Unfortunately, it was an older individual. He was 86. And in the course of the robbery, he fell to the ground. Right? As a result, he died. This is, under the law, a felony murder, which is akin to intentional murder.
You sound like a man.
However, when I first got the case, I learned, I took the time to learn about the defendant. And it was a strong case, so it wasn't about a whodunit.
Stop, pause. I took time to learn about the defendant. You're supposed to prosecute the defendant, regardless. Again, Lady Justice is blind. It doesn't matter what his race is. It could have been a white dude. Would you have done the same thing for a white dude? Would you have done the same thing if it was an Asian on Asian crime? Would you have done the same thing if it was a Hispanic guy? Like, what are you talking about here? Like, you looked into his background. His background is irrelevant. Rocky did. His background is irrelevant. Justice prosecutes crimes the same. Murder is murder. Again, it's like whenever they say, it's like this is a hate crime. Don't stack on an additional charge. Murder's murder. You can the only thing that should matter is if it's premeditated murder. Like that's the thing. There should be no hate crime charge. It should be premeditated. If it's premeditated and you can prove it, then they go to jail or they get the death sentence. Like, what are we talking about here?
The resemblance is uncanny.
It is. It really is. But again, what justice? I'll say this a million times, folks. Lady Justice is blind for a reason. And this woman, Democrats, liberals, people on the left, why are you digging into the person you're prosecuting's past? That doesn't matter to you. What they did was wrong and evil. And it's your job to throw the book at them. But again, I believe in restorative justice. I'm a good person. I'm better than you are. So I'm going to be lenient on these people and throw the book at a former Marine and a hero protecting people on a subway. And you know what? I'm not even going to bring up the other guy on charges, the Hispanic guy that was helping Daniel Penny. He's fine. He wasn't really doing anything.
Well, that's their definition of restorative justice. Well, since he's Hispanic and he's probably low income and he's maybe be an illegal immigrant, we're just going to let him go. But Daniel Penny, since he's a
white
Patriot
privileged
Marine, white
male,
privileged, yeah, he's going straight to jail. Straight to jail.
Yeah, we'll give him the death penalty if we can. This woman is evil. This woman is evil. She represents everything wrong with the criminal justice system. Again, you know what we should do? Every single prosecutor, they should be forced to wear blinders. They should have a veil put over their heads, and it doesn't matter the race or color of the person they're talking to. Just like, nope. You put a blindfold over your face, and you prosecute that way. I think that would change the way a lot of things are prosecuted in this country.
Yep. Definitely would.
Hey, prosecutors. Defendants, they can look at the people, the lawyers, the trial lawyers who are defending their clients can see what their clients are and what they look like. But, maybe they shouldn't either. I mean, if you just put blindfolds on the judge, if you put blindfolds on the judge, put blindfolds on the lawyers, that will change how everything is prosecuted. They will fairly prosecute everything, because what do you have to go on after that? All you have to go on is what the crime is. Mm-hmm. What is the crime? It's like you're sitting there with blinds on. It's like, what color is the person? And then the judge goes, I can't ask that question. It's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, doesn't matter. The crime is the crime. We're charging him for murder. We're charging him for this, and these are the facts.
Yeah, but you have to remember, there's also the reason why they can't do that partially is because how they act in the courtroom. Remember, because you can get more penalties tagged on for your behavior in the courtroom. Mm-hmm. So if you're being what's it like? I don't know, like smug, arrogant, or being extremely hostile.
Yeah.
As the defendant or as the prosecuted, you can get more time added on because the judge I have never seen anyone this disrespectful in a courtroom before.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I agree, but what I'm saying is, if you made this woman wear a blindfold, it would change the way she'd prosecute, but then she'd be like, what, may I ask what color the defendant is? Like, shut up, ma'am, you can't ask that question, It's like, it would change how things are done. And then also seeing them walk around the courtroom with blindfolds on would be hilarious, too.
Maybe if Daniel Penny changed his name to Jaquarius or something, said, he needs some restorative justice.
Yeah. Well, shoot, he was in the Marines. That man definitely needs some restorative justice. Good Lord, that is, service members. New York and this woman treating service members like crap. Rocky Dennis over there trying to get some restorative justice going. It's like, restore Daniel Penny, for God's sakes. Anyway, but what else do you got for me, Chad?
Finish up with this video real quick.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Who did it? I could prove it. I could take it to trial that day and win it. But it wasn't about that. It was that the more I learned about the defendant and his life and the circumstances, the kinds of things that Jarrell was talking about, that one should take into account the trauma of that individual, I really felt incredibly sorry for him that he had gotten to that point in his life where he felt like there was no other choice but to commit this robbery.
That's for the judge to decide, not you, ma'am.
Yeah. I was about to say, you're supposed to take emotions out of the courtroom.
Yeah.
That's the point, is you're supposed to take all your emotions out of the courtroom.
Whenever, I remember specifically, the judge was like, no emotional outbursts during the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And that's the way it's supposed to be with every single trial. It's like, no emotional outbursts. When you have an emotional outburst, they tell you to leave, or they have somebody escort you out of the courtroom. Because it's supposed to be impartial.
Yep.
And again, she's telling you that she's not impartial when she's doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're a prosecutor. You're supposed to be impartial, like the judge.
Yep.
It's like, as a prosecutor, it's like, I don't care if this person gets convicted or not. I'm presenting the facts of the case, and if I win, I win. If I lose, oh well, it doesn't matter. I mean, the state pays the prosecutor.
Yeah.
It's the defendants that get paid by the people they're defending.
Yep. Exactly. But we'll move on to other things, and they'll be some of them will be relevant. Some of our memes will be relevant to what's going on right now.
So anyway, but the point of that is the jury is currently in deliberation.
Yes.
And we said we are praying to God that that the jury is, going to be smart. If the glove does not fit, you must acquit.
Yeah.
I don't think he was trying to kill that kid.
We've been watching our phones with bated breath about this, but this is just day one. Yesterday was technically day one. We're entering day 2 right now. We haven't even been in a full 24 hours of jury deliberation yet.
Yeah.
So.
And you have to remember, there's a million types of stipulations that the judge, you can't take this factor in. You have to factor this in when you're making this decision, things like that. And then you're also going to have those people who are going to be like super by the book, by the rules, and you're going to have the people like, can we just get the hell out of here? I got a baseball game I want to get to, just like 12 Angry Men,
Yeah.
But again, we are waiting with bated breath while the jury's out. We are praying for Daniel Penny. I hope that the guy gets justice. And again, New York, remember, this is about all of you, this trial. If Daniel Penny loses, the same way with Kyle Rittenhouse, if Kyle Rittenhouse lost his case, that was like saying that was a green light against self-defense. If he lost that, self-defense is gone in Kenosha.
It's the same thing.
Same goes for here. Yeah, same here with Daniel Penny. If Daniel Penny loses this case, you are not allowed to defend yourself in New York City, even in an enclosed subway. It's like you have a duty. Like again, but New York is already that place. You have a duty to flee your own house. Like if somebody breaks into your house and goes, "I'm going to kill you," it's like, well, you have to escape your house and run away.
Yeah, you have to prove that you could not escape your home.
Yes.
That's the problem. The burden of proof is on the victim, not on the persecutor or the criminal.
So New York is already a hellhole when it comes to rights for the victims. Now they're saying if you're trapped in a train and someone's threatening to kill you, you're not allowed to defend yourself. This is a trial of personal defense against every citizen of New York. And if he loses, all of New York loses. And criminals have more... criminals already have more rights than you. Clearly, with the prosecutor there. But now it's going to give people a green light to do whatever the hell they want. So we'll move on to the next subject.
Well, next subject is just kind of memes. Some of them are related to the Daniel Penny thing, which we'll get to. But this first one I want to start with is how everyone keeps saying, I keep seeing it all the times, like, Trump hates veterans. Trump hates veterans. This right here proves that Trump does not hate veterans. Breaking. Donald Trump has announced all military members who are discharged for refusing the COVID mandate will be reinstated, receive full back pay along with a formal apology from the United States government. Does Trump have your support on this? Absolutely he does.
That's freaking awesome. Do you know how many people we lost due to COVID?
Good people.
Yeah. I mean, I was sitting there, and I remember when I was going through basic training, they were like, you have to get this vax or you can't join. And, they didn't even tell you. I was like, I don't want to get the vaccine shot. But when I was in there, they didn't tell you what they pushed into your body. They just you get like 6 or 7 shots all in a row. And then you get out and they go, oh, yeah, that last one was the vax. And you're just like, are you kidding me right now? And then you go through, and then when we got to our basic training unit, they had a reverend or a, what do you call him, a chaplain come in.
Chaplain, yeah.
And he was like, everyone, like literally, he's like, yeah, how come we couldn't opt out of getting the vaccine when we were at that place? And he goes, what are you talking about? You didn't have to opt in. You didn't have to get the vax. And like everyone literally, like the entire, we're talking 18-year-old kids to 30-year-old guys like me going, what? They didn't even tell us anything. They just did it. Mm-hmm. But that goes to show you the evil of government bureaucracy, the evils of government mandates. There were so many kids there who were forced to get the vaccine that didn't want to get it and didn't even know they got it. And then they get back and they go, they said they wouldn't send us to this basic training unit if we didn't get the shot. And the reverend or the chaplain was like, what are you talking about? They shouldn't have done that. That goes to show you that the Army doesn't even communicate with itself. It's like, they probably just told that to the chaplain so they could get more people to come in, and then they just were like, we'll do it anyway. Mm-hmm. Or we'll just miscommunicate that. Whether or not it was done intentionally or not intentionally. But, they gave the drill sergeants there that were at the processing center a clear mandate of what they wanted them done. They said, you will vax those turds. You know what I mean?
Yep. Next one I have here is EPA advisor admits insurance policy against Trump is funneling billions to climate organizations. We're throwing gold bars off the Titanic. It was an insurance policy against Trump winning. Get the money out as fast as possible. The Trump admin will come in. It's like we're on the Titanic. We're throwing the gold bars off the edge. This is another Project Veritas, which this is still, so Project Veritas is still technically doing some good work, even though James O'Keefe is no longer a part of it.
Yeah.
But again, like, that's crazy that these people are literally stealing money. They're literally like taking all the silverware and diningware off the table because they know that their budgets are about to be cut. So they're like, quick, get more money, get all the money we can right now before they cut our budget.
These people are criminals. They're just white collar criminals. They are, they're like, hey, we know that the budget cuts are coming, so we're going to input as much spending as we can because, again, they're jumping off the ship. They're leaving us to drown, leaving us to pay the bills, pay the debt, and they're taking your money and running.
Yep. Next one I have here, and this one's relevant to the Daniel Penny trial. There's a wolf behind you. And then the sheep are all like, you're a wolf hater. No to wolf phobia. As the wolves getting ready to start eating the sheep. But that's how Democrats are. The Democrats are the sheep. And the Republicans are trying to be like, hey, this is bad, or we need to do something about this. Like, no, you're just being racist, Islamophobic, sexist, homophobic, whatever. They just throw a phobia at it.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I used to think, like the whole sheepdog argument was just it was a very childish way of explaining the world to people. Like, was that Chris Kyle movie where his dad's explaining, there are wolves and sheepdogs.
Mm-hmm.
You have to choose what you want to be. Like, I thought that was just a childish way to explain a concept to the audience. I was like, boy, this is really dumb. And then I had conversations with people I went to college with, and I was like talking about like
gun control
and the right to conceal and carry and all this stuff. And they were like, no, if it's my time, it's my time. I just have to go. It's like, you wouldn't defend yourself. Like, but what if somebody, like, literally, I was talking to them, I was like, what happens if, your husband and you are living in a house together, somebody breaks in, and he goes, I'm going to F your wife, I'm going to F your kids and kill them too. It's like, what are you going to do? You're just going to be like, it's my time. It's my time. Honey, take care of yourself. But I mean, this is the
scary part was they said yes.
Yeah. They were like, yeah. So, I mean, these are people, like, high-educated people that went to the University of Tulsa, like, I was like, whoa. Now, maybe their perspectives have changed as they got over, and now that they actually have children, when you have kids and when you have things that you can call, because when you're graduated college, like, you basically have nothing. Maybe you have like a rent house or something, and like, you don't own it, But now that you actually have things and you have kids, maybe their perspective and worldview changes. Typically, that's what happens. As you get older, you become more conservative. But they were just so sure. It's like, no, it's my time. Like, why would you want to? It's like, then we ran through the whole movie theater scenario. Would you rather get shot
accidentally by someone trying to save you, or would you rather get intentionally shot by somebody who's coming into that movie theater to try and kill you? And
yes.
The only answer they ever give is,
I don't want to
be shot, period. Go, that's not an option. These are the two options. Would you rather get accidentally shot, not killed, just shot?
If you can't play out this hypothetical with me that actually has happened in real life scenarios, what's the deal here? Like,
it's literally the Sam Harris argument that he had with Cenk Uygur, against like Islam. He's like, would you rather be stabbed if you're in a kitchen? And would you rather be stabbed by somebody who accidentally bumped into you with a knife, or would you rather be stabbed by somebody who's intentionally trying to kill you with a knife?
Yeah.
And the answer is clear, that it's the person who accidentally stabbed you, because they're going to be like, oh my God, I'm sorry, and probably try to help you, whereas the person who's trying to kill you, they're trying to kill you.
Yeah, it's Michael Myers stabbing you with a knife. It's like, oh, I got you. The shape got you, Like, and he's not going to stop until you stop breathing.
Yep. But this next one here from Bernie Sanders, and this guy, Declarations of Meme, fixed it. Says, if you have health insurance, I'm asking you to fight for those who don't. And he replaced the word fight with pay, which is 100% true. That's what you don't realize, is when they say we want you to fight for things, it's like we want you to pay for somebody else. And that's 100% true. And if you're a native born, I'm asking you to pay for undocumented.
Yep.
If you can't afford education, I'm asking you to pay for those who can't. If you want, the only way to defeat Trump is with, he says, human solidarity, but the real word is communism.
Yes. And again, it's like Bernie Sanders has the same philosophy as of all those dum-dums who say, if we took all of Elon Musk's money, everybody in the world would be able to have like $100,000. It's like, no, they wouldn't. First of all, I don't know how you're coming up with this math. Second, Elon Musk is not liquid those billions of dollars he has. He owns buildings. He owns technology. He owns all of the cars that are Tesla cars being produced. He goes, he's not liquid those assets. Those are hard assets.
Mm-hmm.
So think of it this way. It's like if you own a building, you might be net worth $1 million, but you probably own equity in a building somewhere. You probably own equity in your vehicle. They're accounting for all of the belongings that you own. It's not like Scrooge McDuck, like Elon Musk has a vault of money where he can dive in, and like swim in the cash. It's like, that's not what we're talking about here. He has assets. His assets are worth billions, and his ideas are worth billions. And the way he manages his business to make them all profitable is what makes him millions. It's like people seldom have liquid cash on hand.
Yeah. I mean,
even people have Bitcoin. Like they're not liquid that cash. Their cash is in Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's invested in something. They can't just take it out at any point in time.
And if they do take it out, they're going to get taxed on it.
Yes. I mean, that was the whole point of what we were talking about, the Giuliani thing the other day.
Yeah.
It was like he does not, they've literally cut him off. They've debanked and deplatformed him.
Now, he still has assets. He still has his home. He still has all of his belongings, but his stocks are tied up in equities and whatnot. But guess what? He can't just draw that out. And if he does, he's going to get hit with mega charges, and that's what they're hoping for. They're trying to bankrupt him through this process. And he's smart enough to know, I'm not going to move that money until I'm able to do other things. Like I said, if he had a credit card, he could be like, ching, put it on the card.
Yep. Next one I have here is Biden just gave Africa $1 billion in U.S. taxpayer dollars. Meanwhile, in North Carolina, people are still living in tents.
Even be able to use the bathroom.
Yeah, it's winter time.
So you have to pay for that yourself?
That's what they're getting at.
Yeah, it's $130 a month to rent one.
Sarah's one hope
$130
was
a month
U.S.
to
Small
rent a porta
Business Administration disaster loan. But then she got this voicemail.
This is a call from the U.S. Small Business Administration about your SBA disaster loan application. Due to a lapse in congressional funds, new loan offers will be delayed until Congress provides additional funding for the disaster loan program. We understand how frustrating this delay is.
What did you think when you heard that?
This is a pause right there for just a second. They're going to say that this is Republicans refusing. The Democrats will say this is Republicans refusing to pass more legislation to get them things. But they don't realize is that we've sent billions of dollars to Israel, Ukraine, and now Africa. And they're going to be like, it's the Republicans refusing to give money to these poor hurricane victims. Like, no, it's not. The Republicans are like, you guys are spending money or pretty much like funneling money to your globalist donors to funnel money back to you probably in Africa. Mm-hmm. And our American citizens are suffering because of it.
Well, I mean, we already know that that's what happened with these Ukraine funds. I mean, the freaking, what's his name said it, the turkey gobbler guy, Cocaine Mitch. Like, he was like, what? Oh, yeah. He was talking about, like, Cocaine Mitch said that, that don't worry, the money's not actually going to Ukraine. It's going to our defense contractors here in the U.S. to make funds for Ukraine. So the money is being funneled back, and it's I'm sure the politicians that vote for this stuff are getting the kickbacks based off of how they voted. Mm-hmm. So, again, your tax dollars are going to fund foreign wars, but not only that, they're also just coming right back here to go into the hands of our defense contractors here and get kickbacks to your politicians.
Yep. But we'll finish this up a little more with the people living in tents real quick.
Yeah.
It's been, we already have it so rough, and to not be able to get the financial and, help that we need it's really awful.
Some just down the road have it even more awful, living in tents and small RVs with no power as winter approaches and temperatures now dip into the 30s.
There's times we don't get fresh meat because there's no way to keep it cold. Because you got to choose between heating the house with a generator, especially the ones who have kids, and keeping the food cold.
Wintertime's coming. These folks cannot be forgot about. Just because you don't see this on TV, it don't just go away. This is not going to go away for a long time. We got to get those folks out of those tents and in those FEMA campers. How's it going to happen?
A lot of the locals I've spoken to are
I'll just keep, that's wild. We're still having issues with this today.
As an infantryman, I would love to be able to sleep in a tent. But no, that is wrong. I mean, like I said, the government has failed the people of North Carolina. North Carolina should never vote Democrat again. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Now, I'm going to tell you, if a Tulsi Gabbard-like Democrat comes along, maybe vote for her.
Yeah, I mean, like that video of us watching Hillary Clinton the other day talking about immigration.
Yeah, what happened to that Hillary
Exactly.
Clinton?
What happened to those Democrats? What happened to those Democrats? Those are sane Democrats, and they've gone so far left that they can't badmouth anything.
They couldn't recognize, like Hillary Clinton couldn't recognize herself in that video. She'd be like, I said that? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. This one more focused on immigration. These are the top crime-ridden places in Europe right now.
Let's go.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Belgium, with a crime index of 60.4. Continuing in reverse order, we arrive at Montpellier, France, where the crime index stands at 61.0.
Good God.
Naples, Italy, secures the 9th spot on our list, boasting a crime index of 61.7. Nantes, France, is 8th on our list with a crime index of 61.9. Birmingham, United Kingdom, takes the 7th spot with a crime index of 62.7. Catania, Italy follows closely, securing the 6th spot with a crime index of 63.8. Coventry, United Kingdom, is 5th on our list with a crime index of 64.0. Marseille, France, is the 4th on our list with a crime index of 64.7. Charleroi, Belgium, stands at the 3rd spot, recording a crime index of 65.6. Bradford, United Kingdom, takes the 2nd spot with a crime index of 69.4. And now, the first and top-ranking city for the most dangerous city in
London?
Europe, Preston, United Kingdom, at a concerning 80.0.
Whoa.
Yeah. That is the places that have the, if you haven't read it, the heaviest migrant cities are also the ones that have the highest completely spiraled out of control crime.
Hey, remember, folks, all cultures are equal. There's no difference between people and culture. They'll be able to integrate instantly. Not really. I mean, like I said, it's like what, who was that famous actor, the British guy?
John Cleese?
Yeah, John Cleese saying he doesn't recognize London anymore.
Yeah.
It's like there's more burqas and Muslims than there are there are more burqas in London than there are normal dressed people. Like you don't see people wearing the dapper suits and ties like you did back when he was growing up in the 60s and 70s, whenever he was really big in the Monty Python era, you know. Like, he goes, you don't see that. He goes, now you just see Islamic burqas walking around. Like, I mean, that again, that joke that J.D. Vance made, what's the first Islamic country that's going to get nuclear weapons or going to have nuclear weapons? And he was like, London or the UK, because they are importing the end of their culture, the end of their society.
Yep. And I think I have a video of their mayor talking about it being a failed experiment. I think I got to go back and find it.
Sadiq Khan said this? I find that hard to believe.
No, I'm sorry, the prime minister, whatever that guy's name is.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't actually mean it. He's just saying it to get some political brownie points
before he's getting ready to be elected, since re-election's probably coming up. The next one here, number of pages of regulation in Idaho Administrative Code, 1996 to 2023. So, saying, wow, it's possible to deregulate a state.
Wow.
Look at that. That 2020 or 2019 and 2020, you just see them just like, all right, we're getting rid of all this regulation.
Mm-hmm.
And now Idaho is one of the, from my understanding, is like becoming one of the more prospering states right now.
Good. Love it.
Okay.
Deregulate, allow people to compete in the business market, and magic can happen.
Yep.
But if you don't, and you let big corporations legislate small corporations or small companies out of business, you're not going to see a competitive market. You're not going to see people try to innovate and thrive.
Mm-hmm. Then right here, this one is always fascinating to me. Up until 1913, Americans kept all of their earnings. Despite this, America still had schools, roads, colleges, vast railroads, subways, an army, and a navy. Tell me, again, why taxes are necessary.
I don't know. Maybe because a bunch of idiot socialists got in and were trying to import communistic ideas. I don't know.
Oh, boy. Said trans lawyer. This has been popping up on news with Matt Walsh.
Really
trans lawyer right here is going to try to
when 26
getting ready to talk about banning child sex changes, which I'm all for.
Yeah,
because it's irreversible. Despite what everyone tells you, it is irreversible once you have taken hormones. Some of these hormones, depending on how many you take, are almost irreversible.
Yeah, remember, some of the hormones that they put these kids on is the same things they use to chemically castrate prisoners.
Yep. But we'll go ahead and play this real quick.
Passed laws restricting healthcare treatments for transgender youth. according to a CNN analysis of data from the nonprofit think tank Movement Advancement Project. So how do you plan to argue before the U.S. Supreme Court in a case that could have wide-ranging implications beyond the state of Tennessee?
Well, thank you for having me, Jake. And obviously, this is a critical inflection point for transgender people across the country. We're coming off of an election season where transgender people played an outside role in people's consciousness in terms of the way in which we were situated as a threat to others. And when we look at the map of states that ban this type of evidence-based healthcare, we went from 0 states that had these bans in 2020 to now more than half the country.
What the heck?
Because they didn't have this type of crap before 2020.
Yeah.
This wasn't an issue before 2020.
But they'll say that's because they were so marginalized, you know. I mean, again, everything is their justification. It's like, this wasn't an issue. That's because the issue didn't exist back then because people lived inside their rational minds.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've expanded our consciousness, bro. It's like, no, you haven't. Is that a chick?
That's a transgender lawyer. That's why you saw me like cringe. It's like you can hear in the voice it's a woman, despite the fact it looks like a man.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, nothing's gonna change the fact that you're a woman, dude. Like, I mean, like, your voice still sounds the same. You still sound ridiculous.
This one right here, Spygate. Never has a president left the office to collude with another's to impede the next sitting president of the United States of America until Obama. Which is true.
Yep. Very true.
Then this I just thought was funny. Doctor, I'm depressed because of the weather in 30 years. Have you tried supergluing yourself to the street?
Yep. Stop oil now. That's their modus operandi.
Yeah. Whoopi having a huge eat it moment here.
What do you mean?
To stop the so-called witch hunt. I mean, I don't know that he even has the power to do that. What does no one read?
Whoopi, 4 years later, talking
He's
about Trump pardoning himself.
The sitting president, and he can do whatever he wants to until his time is up.
Is that Define L's that made that?
No, I don't know who this is. Merch? I don't know.
Either way, that's one of those foot and mouth syndrome moments, folks. That's a Defiant L's moment right there.
Yeah. And you wonder why pedogate is a thing still? Crap like this. This is from Tyson James. Oprah's spiritual healer sentenced to 99 years for raping girls and accused of baby trafficking.
Yep. It seems like all the Hollywood elite spiritual guidance and lifestyle influencers and lifestyle, facilitators are all pedophiles. They're all evil.
Mm-hmm. Then there's this one right here. We'll probably touch more on this.
Well, actually, domestic disinformation is a threat to democracy. So regardless of whether it's the Russians or not, we need to censor Americans to preserve democracy. And this happened in tandem with...
What examples were they using to justify this?
Well, they pulled off a cute trick where they doctrinally redefined democracy to mean a consensus of institutions rather than individuals. They had, when Trump won in 2016 and Brexit passed in 2016, they took this...
So again, that argument he just made, it's the 99% of scientists agree that man-made action is causing climate change. Like, it's about consensus of government bureaucracy, not consensus of the people. Same goes for the climate. It's like the scientists agree. Remember, science is done by trial and error, not by consensus. Like, we could all come to the consensus that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, we all...
Doesn't make us right.
Yeah, doctors all came to consensus that leeches and bloodletting were the best way to solve some diseases. And we all know that that's not true now.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're using that 99% of scientists agree consensus is the way science is done, you are a moron. That's like coming to the conclusion that it's not going to change. I mean, it's like, remember, the Earth is flat. Christopher Columbus is going to sail off the Earth, you know? That's the consensus of the people. That's the consensus of scientists and great thinkers of the time. Like, no, it's not. Like, it is a retarded argument to say that. But again, it's not about the truth. It's about attaining power. It's about scaring people into saying, oh, don't worry. The government has the solution for you.
Yep.
Or at least the Democratic Party has a solution for you. And you just have to do whatever we say.
Yep. Next one I have here is from the Babylon Bee. Bill Cosby joins Hamas, so feminists will stop condemning him for rape.
That's a smart move. That's a very smart move. Again, Babylon Bee crushes it, man. Like, it's It doesn't matter because, I mean, remember, Hamas went in and they R-worded tons of girls and tons of babies. Children. Nobody, they're like, where's the feminist outrage for them? But the feminists are on the side of Hamas going, hey, Israel is an avatar of the West, so therefore they're bad. They can do whatever they want to Israeli citizens. And remember, there are still American citizens being held hostage over there.
Yep.
That Trump literally gave them all time and goes, by the time I become president, those hostages better be free or you will suffer great consequences. And now they're like, is America really going to get involved? And now they're all freaking out going, Trump, we want you to negotiate a truce between us and Israel. It's like, I bet you do, Hamas.
Yep. Guaranteed. And then this next one kind of goes back to like crime in New York and immigration problems. Is breaking news. 13-year-old migrant was arrested in New York City after he and a group of accomplices stabbed a pedestrian for refusing to take their picture. The last known address of the migrant teen was at Roosevelt Hotel, which is a taxpayer fund migrant shelter. 3 other suspects are still on the loose.
Nice. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm. Then there's this one right here.
All cultures are equal, everybody.
Yep. Then there's this one right here. Mass shooting in Chicago that won't be treated by the media by the same narrative. Why doesn't this fit? Reportedly, the people involved were illegal Venezuelans.
Chicago police say they were called to a home at 59th Street between St. Louis and Central Park for a call of a person shot. Once police arrived, they found 8 people shot all inside that home. They say it was 4 men and 4 women, all of them between the ages of 20 and 35. Police say 3 of those men are now dead, and we know that of the 5 who were injured, 2 were taken to Christ Hospital, 1 was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, and another one was taken to Mount Sinai, and 2 transported to a hospital. It's unclear what hospital they went to. We had a chance to speak to a neighbor and police about what unfolded here in Chicagoland this evening. Take a listen.
We have 8 victims that we're going to solve this crime and find the individuals that are responsible for this heinous, terrible incident. It appeared to be a social gathering taking place at that location. There have been calls of service at this residence before.
From that home, it seems like they party a lot. Yeah, they like to have a good time.
How long have they possibly been living there? When did you first start seeing or hearing the partying?
Maybe within the last 6-7 months.
Oh, so you mean when the migrants showed up?
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, folks. Again, all cultures are equal. There is no, there's not going to be a rough trial and error period whenever you try to bring people in. Like this is Democrat policies working at its finest. This is what the end result of toxic empathy is. Bring them all in.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as a brown-skinned criminal.
Yep. This last one that
if they're criminals, it's a result of white oppression. It's a result of colonialism.
Yep.
That's why. I mean, again, it all comes back to colonialism and white privilege. Like, I mean, that's what it is. It's white privilege caused these Venezuelan gangs to fight each other.
Yep. Trump, and again, another one, Trump with veterans.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is like, Trump is a racist and misogynist. Libs. This is the side of Trump the mainstream media won't show you.
Go ahead. I'm a 9/11 survivor, Iraq and Afghanistan veteran. I love the policy that you have for the military.
Thank you.
I wanted to know if Trump Towers would be part of that veteran job.
Are you talking about here?
Yes.
We are doing some of that actually already. We have it very much involved. Why? What are you looking for? What kind of a position? Come up here. Come here. So smart. Good. Do you mind if I do a job interview right now? We need good people. How are you? So what's your experience in front of the world?
Well, I design, I do wreaths, I do all types of decorations.
And you like this building?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. There's the man. Stand right over here.
Oh my God.
If we can make a good deal in the salary, she's going to probably have a job, okay? All right, good. Have a good time. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. Good. Thank you. So nice. Really nice. Look at that with the tears. How nice. She just seemed like a good person to me.
That's awesome.
That's
That's
the Donald
awesome.
Trump the media doesn't show you, and that was a veteran,
Yeah.
African-American woman. So that literally checked all the boxes of how could he be racist, sexist, and hate veterans.
What's amazing is, too, it's like asking you shall receive. You know, it's like she wasn't afraid to go up there and ask, like, what kind of thing. And then he's like, well, what, you want a job? Like, I mean, that's so awesome. This is the Donald Trump that everyone likes. This is the Donald Trump we're all happy to have as president. This is awesome. But, you have all these people who are just detractors like, that would never be shown. Jimmy Kimmel's never going to show that. They're just going to be like, he lost 300,000, or she lost 300 kids. It's like, what about Biden losing the 300,000? Nah, it's not a big deal. It's Trump's policy set up that for failure. So it's really Trump's fault. Like that, no critical analysis. That right there, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
I agree. So which one of these do you want me to end the show with today? This one or this one?
Oh, you might save that bulldozer one for Friday. You can end it with Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson.
You got it. So let me go ahead and switch back to...
You bet.
And we can go ahead and start ending out the show.
All right, everyone. Well, this is the Twins with the Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But, that's all we've got for you today. So God bless you.
And hang on one second. There we go. And see you later, everybody.
I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman...
I